I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Job, chapter 30, and let's focus on verses 20 through 23. I call out to you, O God, but you don't answer me. I stand up to plead, but you just look at me. You have turned cruelly against me. With your powerful hand, you have kept persecuting me. You snatch me up on the wind, and you make me ride it. You toss me about in a tempest, for I know that you will bring me death, the house assigned to everyone living. You know, one of the hardest things for followers of Jesus, me included, to comprehend is the problem of pain and hardship in the lives of believers. And it is easy to take a stance of Job's friends. You know, whenever non-believers are suffering, well, they deserve it, we say. And perhaps we could say that they earned it. I don't think that that's very kind, but sometimes it is true. But what about the suffering of the righteous? This is the hard part for us. Is God not paying attention? Does he not have the power to save? Or worse, does he not exist at all? You see, these questions go through the minds of even the most ardent followers of Jesus whenever serious trials come upon them. And while I am unable to answer the why of everyone's individual troubles, at least it's comforting to know that Jesus can relate to whatever pain that you may be going through. You see, Job had it bad, but Jesus had it worse. And this is primarily because Satan was ordered to stop short of killing Job. And while with Jesus, Satan was permitted to go all the way. Job may have felt close to the ledge, but Jesus got shoved over the ledge. And in those final moments on the cross, Jesus cried out with words that seemed to come from Job's own mouth. Look at what he said, Matthew 27, verses 45 and 46. For from the 6th hour darkness fell upon all the land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why have you forsaken me? It is a question that many people ask. Why? Why has this happened? Why did you let this happen, Lord? And it's not as if Jesus didn't know God's plan of salvation. He had told all of his disciples on the road to Caesarea Philippi exactly how it would go down. It's not like Jesus didn't know his role in the salvation of mankind would include his dying. You see, as Jesus was paying a debt that he did not owe, he was also demonstrating the response to God of everyone, right? He's taking the world's sin upon himself. So what happens if you're being punished for your sin? Now you see in him not only the suffering, but you hear from him what everyone who is getting the justice of God which they deserve will say to him, especially those who thought that that would never come to them. It's the response of God, of everyone who would die apart from his atonement. Why have you forsaken me? Furthermore, when we analyze the psalm that Jesus quoted, because this wasn't just randomly coming out of Jesus' mouth, at that moment we recognize that his cry was also a song of hope and of enduring suffering to the end. It was a hope based on the testimony of God's word concerning God's faithfulness in the midst of suffering throughout the generations. Let's consider this psalm in the first 5 verses of it. Jesus was quoting Psalm 22, verse 1. He says, my God, why have you forsaken me? This was a psalm. Far from my help are the words of my groaning. My God, I will cry out by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I have no rest. Man, if you just stop the psalm right there, why in the world would anybody trust God? But listen to what he says as it moves on. Yet you are holy. You are enthroned upon the praises of Israel. In you our fathers trusted. They trusted, and you rescued them. And to you they cried out, and they fled to safety. In you they trusted, and were not disappointed. Listen, believers, if you're suffering, at the moment and you're wondering, why God, why have you forsaken me? I teach a Bible study. I'm trying to be a good citizen. I try to lead other people to the Lord. Why God? Well, it is a logical human response in the midst of suffering, but be encouraged. Even if all hope seems lost and your present situation carries you to the grave, God's promise of eternity with Him in heaven is still true. It was true for those believers who came before you, and it will be true for you. So as Jesus is quoting the beginning of Psalm 22, we should be quoting the verses that follow him, and yet we will trust in you. Faith in things which cannot be seen, and yet we know because your word says that we'll see it, we'll be there. Just make sure that you'll be there. And if you're wondering how it is that you could receive salvation, you can go to our website. It's very clearly explained there, the gospel. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Groundworks Ministries operates entirely through financial donations from faithful people like you. And your giving to Groundworks Ministries transforms lives. Would you consider making a donation to Groundworks Ministries today? Because we need your monthly support now more than ever. Donating is secure and it's easy at our website, groundworksministries.com. Another way that you can help is to tell people about Groundworks Ministries. Share these podcasts with friends and family. Share them on your social media. And of course, you can always direct folks to our website, groundworksministries.com.